Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and today I'm going to cover step one with you. We are under the subheading Hitting Bottom, Despair, and Isolation. Feel free to reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com if you want to go over your responses to these bullet questions on step one. I'll be glad to cover that with you. All right, or if you have a question, leave it in the comments below, and I will respond to you as soon as I see it. Okay, so you see the heading there. We've already done denial. And now we're in this third section on page 3 in your Narcotics Anonymous Step Working Guide. Are you ready? Let's go for it. It says, our addiction finally brings us to a place where we no longer deny the nature of our problem. All the lies, all the rationalizations, all the illusions fall away as we stand face to face with what our lives have become. We realize we've been living without hope. We find we've become friendless or so completely disconnected that our relationships are a sham, a parody of love and intimacy. Though it may seem that all is lost when we find ourselves in this state, the truth is that we must pass through this place before we can embark upon our journey of recovery. Bullet question number 1. So you have your section, right? Your section is at the top of your page, Hitting Bottom, Despair, and Isolation. This would be what I would call section C, right? Hitting Bottom, Despair, and Isolation. Question 1, bullet number 1, rather. Okay. What crises brought me to recovery? What crises brought me to recovery? Question number 1, underneath the third section. The crisis that brought me to recovery was that I was suicidal and I was running out of options about how I was going to survive. My using was starting to create psychosis for me, and I was becoming less effective at my place of employment. I was getting written up quite frequently, and I was in fear of being found out that my disease of addiction, my drug use, had escalated to the extent that it had. My husband was traveling all the time, so he was rarely around, and I was in a new city, and I was very paranoid with my surroundings and being in this humongous house all the time by myself. So here I was, married, homesick to be back with my family, and I was becoming more and more and more likely to end my life. So that's the crisis that brought me to recovery. And now you need to take your turn. What was the crisis that brought you to recovery? And it would be something similar, a bottom, some bottom that you had hit, despair and isolation. It fits my bottom so well, right? Literally, it describes what I was going through. And so you need to dig deep and write that out. I don't care if it's 3 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages, 1 page, a half a page. Write that out. What crises brought you to recovery? Okay. Question number 2. What situation led me to formally work step 1? What got you to where you are right now, covering this with me? Step 1, to formally work it. And that's that you have the intention of covering it with someone, right? So, what situation led you to formally work step one? Um, for me, the situation wasn't what led me to work step one. My pride led me to work step one. I remember hearing people talk about the steps and doing their steps with their sponsor and feeling less than because I hadn't gotten to that point. And I really didn't have a clue about what they were talking about or expounding upon when it talked about the disease of addiction. And I did not like people having more information, more knowledge than myself. I was very competitive with having to have the knowledge, the information. So my pride was what initially motivated me to work step one. Yours might be different. Yours might be, I kept trying to make meetings and come up with my own answers. And finally, when I realized after my fifth relapse that probably need to change things up a bit and get a sponsor and actually do the steps with that sponsor. Your answer might be completely different than mine. Mine was purely motivated out of self-interest, pride. I didn't want someone to be able to share more profoundly than myself when it came to this step, the steps or the traditions, right? So I know that's probably not what you were expecting, but it's my truth. And you need to write what's true for you. What situation led me to formally work step one? And this is your number 2 bullet under the third section. Now let's go to question number 3. It has 1 question mark, 2, 3, 4. So 3 is going to have 3A, 3B, 3C, 3, 4. Okay. And actually, the 3 and the 4, you're going to have either or. So you probably will only have question 3A, B, and C. When did I first recognize my addiction was a problem? Did I try to correct it? If so, how? If not, why not? I first realized my addiction as a problem when my employer sent me to EPA program, right? Or EAP program, employee assistance program. When my employer pulled me into her office and she said, I don't really know what's going on with you. However, when I interviewed you, I expected far more than I'm getting out of you. I don't want to pry into your business. I think I know what's going on with you, but I want you to know you need to get it together or you won't be here. In this agency, to be hired into this agency at the age that you are, you could retire as a very wealthy woman. However, you may not have that opportunity. I'm going to send you to this program and you can discuss with them what services you need. And so I thought to myself, she must know that I'm coming to work high if I came on time, right? So I was sent to a program because I was not performing the way that I needed to. Okay, so 3B is going to be your next question. And I'm just going to do this section because I'm a little bit winded and I'm a little bit just under the weather, basically. Okay. So we want to look at 3B. Did I try to correct it? I was forced to correct it. I didn't try to correct it. But when I got to that place in our building where there's all these counselors that talk to you about whatever. I remember the gentleman asking me, do you have a substance, a substance use issue? And I was like, do you have a problem with alcohol? And when he hit the nail on the head with my drug of choice, I said, I've been found out. For this to be like the first questions coming out of his mouth, I've been found out. And I told him I didn't think that I needed any program, 12-step program, and that I would just try to make sure that my presence didn't show that I had, maybe used the night before, work. Because, of course, I would never use going to work, which was a lie. And I try to deflect from the seriousness how progressed my using actually was. I try to deflect that. And I did try to correct it. I tried to make sure that I only used up until a certain point in the evening and that I didn't use in the morning. I tried to correct it, but the withdrawal symptoms were too great and I went back to using whenever I wanted to and carrying it to work so that I could use it on my breaks. So I would have this pattern, like I had like if I didn't use in the morning, I thought that was a good day. But if I had to use in the morning in order to function and get ready to go to work and get to work, that was a bad day. And I would be super angry with myself and super depressed because I didn't have enough self-will to not use before work. And I knew that somebody was going to be trying to sniff me out or be in my presence, make me have eye contact with them to figure it out. And that was the problem. So yes, your answer should be yes or no. Did I try to correct it? And then if so, how? And I just shared with you how. If not, why not? Okay. So in section 3, you have these 3 questions. And in the third question, you're going to answer at least 3 of the 4. All right. So you're going to have 3A, 3B, 3C, or 3D. All right. If you answer this one, this is still going to be 3C. If you answer this one, it's 3C, the first one here. If so, how? That would be 3C. So I take that back. Either way, you're going to have at least 3 answers, okay? If not, why not? So you should have 3, A, B, and C. I hope that's been helpful. Go on to the next section, and as soon as I get another opportunity here in the next day or so, I will go on to powerlessness. And you're going to love this. You're going to love this particular section, I believe. So maybe you want to read it yourself and go into it, or you can just wait until I post. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed your company, and I know through working the steps, your life will be better. Have a beautiful day on purpose.